Hey you guys, I'm Kristina. Welcome to my channel, Life Inspired. Today I'm going to share with you 4 of my family's favorite winter crowd-pleasing recipes. I call them double duty dinners because I can cook once and serve it twice in 2 different ways. Today's double duty dinners are, the first 2 are chicken, so I make a big batch of chicken. And then the first night we'll do Thai coconut chicken curry served with rice. Then the rest of the chicken the next day will become a quick chicken pot pie. Literally takes me 10 minutes to put together, pop in the oven, everyone is fed dinner. Next recipe is taco soup, which I know so many variations, but with the taco soup, just cook it first night, and then the next night, I always make a double batch or a big amount, and then I take the leftovers and I make a Texas casserole called tamale pie. So come join me in the kitchen as I share my recipes with you. So on the first night, I just boiled some chicken and I saved the broth. I cubed up half the chicken and I added it to a big stock pot with some chopped peeled potatoes. I add in this super quick, easy Thai coconut curry sauce that I get at Whole Foods, and it's really yummy. All my kids enjoy it and it's not too spicy, but if you find it spicy, add a jar of coconut milk. And then I have rice on the side to serve it with. The next day, I take that leftover chicken, because I only chopped up half, and we're going to make a chicken pot pie. So first, I am making the dough, the pie crust topping. I only do pie crust for the top layer, and I'm doing a really simple recipe where I make it in about 2 minutes, and I will leave that below. When it comes together, refrigerate it while you're preparing the rest of the chicken pot pie. So I'm heating up a cast iron skillet and I'm peeling potatoes. I'm just going to roughly peel, nothing perfect, and I'm going to chop them and put them into the skillet so that they can saute with some chopped onions and some chopped garlic. After I get all the potatoes chopped up, I add them to the skillet and stir them. I want to get them brown and halfway cooked through. They'll finish cooking in the oven when I put it all together. Then I lightly season all the potatoes with salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika. Then I take the chicken that I didn't use for yesterday's dinner that I boiled, and I'm just going to roughly chop it into little cubes that are about the same size as the potatoes. That way it's all the same size and scoops easily on the kids' spoons. After I get it all chopped up, I just add it in with the potato mixture, and I just want to stir it around and get all the seasonings incorporated together, and I want to lightly toast it or brown it all. Then I'm going to add a pat of butter, probably about a couple of tablespoons, and then sprinkle in about a half a cup of flour. We're going to use this to make a gravy or a roux that'll be the base and the bottom of the chicken pot pie. Stir it around just so the flour gets incorporated and tastes yummy. I have a whole container of turkey stock that I got after Thanksgiving, so we're going to use the turkey stock, but you can use chicken broth, chicken stock, anything you have in the pantry really, even vegetable broth would be really good. And I'm just going to let that simmer after stirring it and let it become like a gravy and thicken. To the mixture, I'm adding a bag of frozen mixed vegetables. Really easy, simple, quick things I like to keep in the freezer for easy dinner additions. So I'm going to add in about half a bag, just kind of seeing how it adds in. And then I'm going to let that simmer on the stove while that gravy mixture is thickening. Now I'm just going to use that dough that I made earlier before I started chopping, and it's time to roll it out. I want to roll it out not too thin but not too thick, but mainly my goal here is just to be able to match the size of the cast iron skillet. You can also double the recipe and do a base as well as a topping for a traditional pot pie. But for me, I'm just trying to do a really quick dinner, get everyone fed, and so I'm just trying to make a topping. Sometimes instead of doing the dough topping, I like to do biscuits and just put biscuits on top. Or sometimes I'll even cook the biscuits separate and just serve it in a bowl, or serve the pot pie portion in a bowl and just put a biscuit on the side. And that's also a really easy way to make chicken pot pie, or on those nights we call it chicken and biscuits. Now I like to turn my dough as I'm rolling it out, so that I'm trying to make it into the circular shape. We're not going for perfect here. I like the look of a really rustic homemade dish, and so I know some people would probably measure out their skillet or maybe even trim the edges, but I like to just keep it really homemade looking and just try to match it as best as I can. So I unroll it on top of the skillet, and I just want to cut a few slits so that the vents will be there and the steam is able to release as the pot pie is baking in the oven. I bake it at about 375 for 20 minutes, or until the top is a lightly golden brown and the edges are all bubbly. I allow it to cool for about 10 minutes, and then we just scoop it out and put it in bowls, and everyone loves it. It's a very yummy, healthy dinner. Now this night is when I made a big batch of ground beef, and so it's for taco soup. So I'm adding lots of Mexican flavors: cumin, chili powder, paprika, onion, garlic, salt, and pepper. And I'm just gonna brown it all together. And I added a little can of diced green chilies and this can of organic black beans. I'm also adding a can of pinto beans, and really you can't go wrong. You just want to add in some beans and flavors that your family likes. So if your family doesn't like those beans, you could add kidney beans, any kind of beans, white beans, cannelloni. I'm also adding some homemade canned tomatoes from my garden last year. I add in some frozen corn. Really, it's a great way to sneak in vegetables. My kids don't love corn by itself. So I like to sneak it in dishes like this to where I know they'll maybe even get some of it. I love corn, and I like to add all kinds of things to my taco soup. And it's really open to any variations, whatever you need to use in the fridge: zucchini, squash, just whatever you have in the fridge, add it in. Now, while that's simmering, I'm gonna get started on the topping, which is actually the second dinner. So the taco soup, like it is, I don't think I put that part in, is you want to add in beef broth and let it simmer for 30 minutes and then serve it in a bowl topped with sour cream, cheese, and scallions. This is the second night, so I take that taco soup leftover, and now I'm making just a traditional cornbread from the box. I believe this is Jiffy, just whatever I had in the pantry, because this is a really quick dinner. So I'm mixing it up just based on the directions that are on the box. For the week, or the second night, this is the only step because the taco soup is already made. So what I just do is pull out the leftovers of the taco soup. It's thickened up nicely, and I'm just gonna pour it straight from the fridge into a casserole dish. I mean, it couldn't get any easier. I do like to spray it with nonstick spray or rub it in butter. But that's it. And I pour it into this casserole dish, and then I like to put a layer of freshly grated cheese in between, so it's really like that cheesy layer when you scoop it out. And I put it right on top of that taco soup layer in the casserole dish. Then on top of that cheese layer, I'm just adding in that pre-made, or the boxed made cornbread mix that I mixed up a few minutes ago, and I'm just going to pour it right on top. Try to do it as evenly as possible because it will bake on top, and we want it to this nice even, kind of like a breading layer. And that's it. We're just going to pop it into the oven at 375 for about 30 minutes, again until the cornbread is browned and it's bubbly all around and the little tamale pie casserole comes all together. This is a really yummy dish, a great way to use up leftover, especially taco soup, or if you have chili
or white chicken chili, just throw some cheese in it and a box of cornbread mix and pop it in the oven, and you have a double duty next night ready to go meal that's ready in literally minutes. And here it is. We pop it into a bowl, and sometimes we put a spoonful of sour cream, and that's it. It is ready to go and super yummy, super healthy, and it's a way to have leftovers without it being the exact thing the very next night. So I hope you guys try it. I will leave the recipes in the comments down below for how to make these things, as well as my dough.